Hi, welcome to new unboxing and quick analysis. Today will be a new XK project. This is the X100, the Dexterity model. This is a 3D 6G model. What does it mean? It means that it can fly inverted, but it's not an easy 3D quadcopter. It's for advanced pilot. It means that you will control the inversion like a collective pitch helicopter. It's exactly the same behavior, for example, that the XK X100 3D50. So it means that this X100 is a trainer model for this larger, for more than 400 grams XK 350. So if you need to practice your 3D flying skill, definitively this KX100 will interest you. So what are the basic ingredients? It's a pretty light and it's an XK product, so you can expect at least some nice features and deluxe features. So let's open the box. I received the BNF version, so without any transmitter. I will bind in with the any compatible Futaba SFHSS protocol. So you have at least several choices. So let's open first the box. Here is the contents. First of all, it's very basic, the quadcopter. Okay, so hidden in this plastic protecting everything. So you will find the quadcopter itself, LiPo USB charging cable, okay, to recharge the micro LODI connector when you plug your USB DC to this module, okay, allowing to charge up to 2 LiPo with micro LODI connector in the same time. And what also you will find a set of spare props. They are 3D, so they are probably the most of the important element of this quadcopter, okay. And also you will find instruction manual in Chinese, in English in the same time. So let's have a focus on the quadcopter. It's very light out of the box. The first contact, the first feeling you have after the first contact is pretty light. And as you can see, this is the one unique PCB playing the role also of the main frame structure. So on the bottom side, you can see you will find some all the ESC, a lot of her here. Why? Because since you can fly 3D, it means that your motor needs to be to inverse the sense of rotation. So you need the double the number of FET. Usually you have to install on the normal quadcopter. All these feet are announced to be supporting up to 5 ampere. It's very important for information for the rest of the this video. You have a basic plastic canopy on top, closed thanks to 2 O-rings. Be aware to not losing them. They are very easy to lose. Okay, and when you will open them, okay, you will access to the after removing the LiPo battery, you will access to the main processor. So hidden with this plastic battery holder, you can find here, this is the CC2500 for the Futaba radio frequency protocol. Okay, and after you will find the classic ingredients, 6-axis stabilization MCU and the ARM core to control everything. The novelty here is this is a bind button. So if you want to bind any compatible Futaba protocol, you will have to press this button more than 1 second. The rear LED will stop to flash and it will enter into bind mode. Concerning the LiPo battery, it's a pretty classic model, no discharge rate. It's a 250 milliamps per hour model. No discharge rate. As I said, I can give you the dimension, but good news, you can, if you want, install a larger model if you want to extend your flying time. Anyway, the basic dimension of the original one are 35 millimeters by 20 by 6. Okay. When you will receive it First of all, I strongly advise to start in the 6G, okay, before to engage the 3D mode, which is really dedicated to advanced pilot. It's absolutely not like basics easy 3D model. I will reinstall the canopy. So like some helicopter, you have to insert the O-rings, locking everything, okay? So basically, to bind this quadcopter, of course, you can use any XK radio transmitter. Here is the X6 model, so a very good and efficient advanced model. So supporting, of course, Futaba, large game style, you can grab it easily, but you have also the X4, more tiny, more compact, also supporting the Futaba protocol. So for the activation, you have this smaller transmitter, not this one, but this X4. So the first thing to do, you will have to bind your transmitter to with the quadcopter. So you will have to power the quadcopter, okay? No power switch, you have directly to attach the micro LED collector. Then with a twizer, whatever, you will have to press this bind button, okay? So I will turn on the radio, okay? And you will have to press this button here. You can hear the clips, okay? Okay, and the LEDs behind stopping to flash, then it will enter into bind mode, and the front green LED will reappearing. Okay, so now it's bound, no problem. If you want to calibrate the accelerometers, you have to push in lower auto position the bow stick. Okay, you can see the rear LEDs flashing fast. So now it's calibrated. So by default, the right switch are here. This is the dual rate, okay, increasing the pitch and roll, okay, as well. And this is the throttle hold. This is a very important switch for safety. Whatever you are, you will know that you will crash or you press by accident another mode. Immediately turn this switch on and it will stop the motor to spin. It's very important in case of emergency, okay. Well, probably the first things you will have to do is, for example, you have this X6 or X7 radio, is to follow the instruction manual to program two important curves associated with the capacity to fly 3D. You can find it in page 9 of the instruction manual. Okay, you have two important curves here. You have the throttle curve here and the pitch curve. So by default, if you have XK X6 transmitter, generally the pitch curve is already set correctly. What will be very important is to program according to the X100 this behavior in normal or in 3D mode. As you can see, this you have two curves. Let's focus on this one, for example. You have on the x-axis, what is represent? It represents the throttle course. It means that when the quadcopter, when you are here, close to 1, it means that the throttle is on the bottom. When you are close to 5, it means, okay, I will press the throttle, that the throttle is in the maximum position, okay? So in normal position, it means that you will, when you are down, you will apply a very negative value of throttle. So, and when you will increase the throttle, you will apply maximum of throttle thrust capacity. So it's linear, okay? It's what is normal, since it's called the normal behavior in normal flight without inversion. Everything will be different in 3D. Look at what we want and how it's working. The behavior is like this. When your throttle is in the middle, in fact, you are in the more stable with a lower RPM throttle you can be with your quadcopter. If you are above this throttle, okay, you will assume that you are flying normally without inversion. So you will increase the throttle up to this maximum when you will reach the top of the stick movement here. When you will engage 3D in inversions, everything is inverted. It's like if you are flying like this. It means that if you want to go up when inverted, you have to push up like this. So in practice, when you you hold your transmitter normally, it means that when you're flying like this, to raise, okay, to go up, inverted, you have to push down the throttle. Okay, so this is typically what this curve is meaning. When you are in 3D, you can have maximum of ascent rate when inverted, when your throttle stick exactly in the most lower position like this. Okay, so you will have maximum thrust in inverted position. When you are close to 50, let's say here 50, you will have the minimum value here, okay. And this minimum value, you can read it, it's the 25%. So it means you have just enough power to stay in place, not too much lower, okay. You have just to hold your quadcopter in the same altitude, more or less. Of course, you can tune it, and I will show how to do it. But in 50%, this is a nominal throttle value you can have. And if you go above, and if you are in normal situation, you will also go up and climb, okay? So major problems, it's when you will, for example, be inverted by reflex, you will continue to push the throttle up. It means that in this case, you will accelerate to go down, and the dual situation is when you are in normal situation, okay, you will try to apply the throttle down to cut the motor. In fact, you will also accelerate to the ground. So this is a typical error of pilot error we can do. Okay, so the question is how to set this two curve. For the normal rate, we can see that when the throttle is down, we have to apply 0. When you are in the 25% approximately, we have to apply 25% of the thrust capacity. When we are close to 50, the middle, okay, the course, we have to apply 35% only, okay? And when we are at close to 70%, we have to apply 55% of the thrust. And finally, when we are maximum, we apply only 90%. Okay, so how to proceed and how to check it? We have to, I will disconnect the quadcopter, we don't know by accident. Okay, so now have a look how to program both the throttle curve and the pitch curve. Well, first of all, we have to enter into the menu. So wrong press on the mode here. Okay, and you will access to the different menu. So the first is the reverse, the second is dual rate, third expo, throttle curve for the fourth, pitch curve for the fifth, and gyros for the last. So let's focus on the throttle curve. So first of all, be sure to be in 6G mode, okay, by having this switch in upper position, okay, down to 0. So when you press on it, okay, you will set the first point. So actually, if you read this documentation, you can read that the first point should output 0. Let's focus on, and you can see that the first point is outputting 0. It's correct. So I will go to the second point, and we can see that the second point should output 25. It's still correct. So I will go to the third, and you can see that the third should output 35, and here have 45. So I will press push and set this value, validate by pressing push again, okay? The fourth is 55. Yes, so I've got 45. So I will press push and go to 55. I will validate. And finally, the last is 90, and I got 90. It's correct. Okay, so now I've got all my points set. Now I will also tune for the 3D curve, so this kind of triangle curve. How to proceed? First, switch to the 3D mode, and let's do the first point. Actually, it's 95. Let's see, and it's correctly done to 95. So I will go to the second point. It's 65. Let's have a look. It's 55 here. So I have to decrease this value. So I will decrease to 55. Validate. The third point is set to 25, and I've got 30. So I will decrease this value to 25. This is the mid-course value. So if you see that your quadcopter is still climbing or descending, you can increase or decreasing this value, okay, correspondingly. Then you have to do the 4-point, and I will read 55. Here I got 65, so I will decrease this value. Okay, validate. Then the last is 95, and I've got 95. It's done. Okay, so my throttle curve is now adapted for the X100. Let's focus now on the pitch curve. Okay, I've got to go press back. And the pitch curve, let's focus. We can see that in normal, I have to read 60, 60, 60, 70, 100 for the pitch. Okay, so if I'm not wrong, enter. So I've got 60 for the first, 60 again for the second, 60 for the third, 75 for the fourth, and 100 for the fifth. So it's correct. And let's have a look to the in the 3D mode. I have 100 for the fifth, 75 for the fourth is correct, 50 for the third, and 25 for the second, and 0 for the first is correct also. So the pitch curve was correctly set for my X100. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky, but not so complex. And when it's done, you can press back to validate everything. What I regret with this model, you cannot save different profile if you fly, for example, your X350 and your X100, because you have to know that for the X350, the curves are a little bit different. I will show the main difference. Here are the two curves. You can see especially for the throttle, okay, they are a little bit different. The normal value are a little bit different, and the 3D values also. Okay, so be sure to, unfortunately there is a problem. We cannot save some different profile to pass through a model to another one. That's maybe a drawback of this transmitter. But the good news, you can, if you want, bind your X100 but with your Devo controller, thanks to one of the last hacking of Victor. So what you have to do is to select on your Devo the new protocol. So this is the FHSS. This one assumes that you have installed a CC2500 RF chip. Okay. So how to proceed? Okay, I will check that everything is done. How to proceed? First of all, you have to turn on your transmitter. Okay, your quadcopter is done. Then, as I said previously, I will press the bind button. Okay, and the rear LED should stop to flash. The front also, and after a few seconds, you should see that everything will resume. Maybe you have to turn on the radio again. Okay, after a few seconds, yes, you have the reappearing the green LEDs, and no problem, I can fly the radio. Okay, so be aware with this model. Okay, with this one, I can turn to 6G, by this switch. Be aware, look that, it will spin very fast because as you can see, the throttle is in lower down, so maximum to pushing. Look that. Okay, so be aware, it's very dangerous. And you can see the inversion of the. Okay, so you saw the motor spinning in different direction as soon as I was above the 50%. Okay, so if you want to, for example, to turn on into acro mode, it's possible. So you don't want to fly 3D, but just no more in horizon mode, but in acro. With this my model, just click the yaw rudder trim to the right, and it will stick between the 3D to 6G. Okay, so it means that this quadcopter, it's a nice feature. I have also a pure acro mode, but like was visible on the XK350, on this one you don't have a different LEDs indicating, for example, that you are turning into acro mode. It would have been great if, for example, you have some flashing green LEDs on front when you are in acro. It's maybe a small drawback of this quadcopter. No visible indication that you're in acro. Okay, so I will conclude this long unboxing. Well, it's more a quick analysis. Of course, wait for some demo flight. I will resume. So this quadcopter is pretty light, an excellent trainer. I can give you the weight information. Okay, it's really, really, really light, and with the LiPo install, this one scale only 35.3 grams. Okay, so it's pretty light. You don't have a lot of risk to damage something or to break something, because or to make a big damage, because it's so light. So this is for me one of the best 3D companion you can have before to attack such larger model. Okay, if you want to don't want to lose maybe $300, good for $30 for such model is pretty cheap. You have some nice LEDs, but not really adapted to night flight. And one word about the MOSFET. I said that they are 5 ampere. Why? Because actually you have some 8mm coreless motors. They are exactly 8 by 20. Okay, as you can see, they are 8 by 20. Is not the biggest coreless motor type you can find in the market. You can install some 8.5, and I'm pretty sure that you can install in the motor port this 8.5mm by 20. It will give an extra amount of thrust. That's pretty good. And in my point of view, the MOSFET will support this larger motor. So if you want some more thrust capacities, be sure to, you can probably install this type of motors. Okay, I regret the absence of visible sign when you are entering acro mode, and the flight duration time with the 250 mAh LiPo are pretty short, something like 3-4 minutes. Luckily, you can install a larger model, a 300 mAh without any problem. Okay, the size of the LiPo is pretty classic, so no problem to find alternative LiPo. Okay, so please check my incoming orders video. I really like this product. I already fly it, of course, and it's a great machine, and it can be a little bit improved by, for example, installing bigger motors. Okay, I hope you like this video. If you like it, please thumb it, and if you like my channel in general, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.